Greetings and welcome to episode 244 of the Words About Games podcast, the weekly news and culture podcast for Words About Games. I'm your host, Amy K. Alexander, joined this week by a barcode on a t-shirt, Mr. Daffy Moody.
Swing! It's Friday. You know what that means, ladies and gentlemen.
What does that mean? What does that mean this Friday, Moody?
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
What do I mean when why I say it?
It's I know we've done the thought why you said it. I want to know specifically. It's Friday. You know what that means.
It's an Amy and Moody gaming podcast.
Games. Aren't they great?
When we don't talk about games. We talk about how fucked up the industry is sometimes. If not most of the time.
Isn't it great how video games just have no politics assigned to them ever? Like, no video game has ever been political in any way.
Not at all.
Never. Ever. Never. It's never happened. If it had happened, they would have said so. But they keep saying it's not. So it hasn't. I'm fucking sick of this shit. We haven't even gotten into it. We will, though. How are you?
I'm alright.
Alright.
So. A week's been relaxing for the most part.
That's good. I played the most relaxing game I've ever played where I've also blown myself up. So.
Oh, is that the one you told me about today?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've installed it as well. I might have a crack at it.
It's pretty fun. It's pretty chill. You just, we'll talk about it on Monday. Because on Monday, you know what that means.
Reviews / impressions of video games. We actually talk about video games.
Yeah. Start a whole podcast to talk about video games because video games rarely come up in a news and culture podcast about video games. That's not true. Like, we're talking about a video game first. Like...
Are we talking about the video game or are we talking about the idiotic response to the video game?
I mean, I'll be talking about the video game. I don't know about you.
I can say right now, I'm leaving. This is Amy. I'm leaving that to you. I'm staying out of the way of this. I'm just going to let you do your thing, Amy. And I'm just going to say, I agree. Just drop my mic and just walk in. I agree.
I need to end it with something I know you don't agree with. Just
just so you can get me not to do that.
Just so I can get you to say something else. And I'd be like, chaos theory, motherfucker.
And I'll be like, I mostly agree with that statement, except that final part, what she did just to piss me off with.
I do something to intentionally annoy you. I feel like that's slander, Moody. I feel hurt by that. Like...
Good.
I would never do that. I'll see you in court. But before that, we've got to do a video game podcast. And in this week's episode, we discuss 6 days at Fallujah. I'm just going to leave it there. This week's Nintendo Direct. More Google Stadia. Tomfoolery. Isn't that a great word? Tomfoolery. I felt good when I wrote it down.
Especially when it's talking about Google Stadia.
Tomfoolery. Tom gets besmirched, I think. Whoever the Tom was who this was named after. Because in my head, someone coined the term tomfoolery about someone called Tom.
Probably did, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. And more. Because there's more than just those 3 things. There are timestamps in the description below the video on YouTube or wherever you get your audio podcasts. There'll also be like timestamps there. I don't know if you can do what you do on YouTube where you just click on them and it goes boop and then you're at that part. I don't know if that's a thing.
If you timestamp them properly, then yes, it does. I can confirm that.
Properly, you say.
Well, it'll come up with like sectioned off parts of the stream on YouTube, so you can just click on it. It'll go straight to the story.
This is very much for me fire and forget, where I put the podcast in the places where it's supposed to go, and then forget about it. I've never been to the Spotify page or the iTunes page since, I saw them and confirmed that they existed. And then I just go, cool, that's that done. I don't even think about that anymore. I'm away. Why would I listen to my own podcast?
Why would I do this? Why you tell me now? Do it.
You know what? This dice is always on a. It's always on a 20. Today, in honor of our first news story, I'm gonna put it on a 1. Critical failure. Let's talk about 6 Days in Fallujah. Critical failure. 6 Days in Fallujah publisher not trying to make a political commentary on Iraq war. I know you don't like it, but you've seen The Office, the American version.
No.
Or like a GIF or a clip. You've definitely seen GIFs because I've definitely shown you.
Yeah.
And like there's Jim, the character in The Office. He's the guy who always like reacts and looks at the camera. He jims the camera. It's a term. And like sometimes in my life when I read something, or I'm reading something, or I hear something, or I'm watching something, and it's so monumentally stupid. Like I honestly feel like just looking at the invisible camera, like that's documenting my life, and just being like, okay then. Like sometimes I think we're all Jim. Don't know why that came into my head. Maybe I'm just trying to pad the time out. This is from Tom Ivan over at Video Games Chronicle, who writes, 6 Days in Fallujah publisher Victor has said it's not attempting to make, quote, a political commentary, end quote, about the Iraq war with the upcoming game. I'm going to get through this without saying anything. I'm going to save it all again. Might need a new Chromebook by the end of this. Recently confirmed for release in 2021, after years out of the spotlight, the long-in-development PC and console game aims to tell the story of the Second Battle of Fallujah, which took place in 2004, from the perspective of the American troops fighting the Iraqi insurgents, as well as members of the city's civilian population. First-person shooter military gameplay will make up 90% of the action, with the other 10% revolving around a parallel storyline in which players take on the role of an unarmed Iraqi father attempting to get his family out of the city. At no point do players assume the role of an insurgent. Quote, for us as a team, it is really about helping players understand the complexity of urban combat, Victor CEO Peter Tamti claimed in an interview with Polygon. It's about the experiences of that individual that is now there because of political decisions. And we do want to show how choices that are made by policymakers affect the choices that a Marine needs to make on the battlefield. Just as that Marine cannot second-guess the choices by the policymakers, we're not trying to make a political commentary about whether or not the war itself was good or a bad idea. End quote. Over 100 Marines, soldiers, and Iraqi civilians who were present during the Second Battle of Fallujah are said to have shared their personal stories, photographs, and video recordings with the title's development team. While the game will present these stories through original documentary interview footage, Tamti said 6 Days in Fallujah won't cover the controversial use of white phosphorus and depleted uranium munitions by US forces during the battle. Quote, there are things that divide us, and including those really divisive things, I think, distracts people from the human stories that we can all identify with. I'm getting angry.
Brave. Do you want me to take over?
No, it's fine. Okay. I'll start from the beginning of that quote. There are things that divide us, and including those really divisive things, I think, distract people from the human stories that we can all identify with. I have 2 concerns with including phosphorus as a weapon. Number 1 is that it's not a part of the stories that these guys told us. Of course it's not. So I don't have an authentic, factual basis on which to tell that. That's most important. Number 2 is, I don't want sensational types of things to distract from the part of that experience. End quote. 6 Days in Fallujah was originally scheduled to be published by Konami over a decade ago, but the publisher pulled out in 2009 due to the controversial nature of the game, the smartest decision it's made in the last 11 years. That was me, not the article. Which attracted criticism from several quarters, including military veterans and anti-war groups. Tamti, who has been attached to the game since its earliest days, told Polygon, quote, "Almost all the outrage I've heard are from people who were not in Fallujah. I think we live in a culture where we feel the responsibility to defend people, whether they want to be defended or not, on social media, and I am sure that there are people who are in Fallujah who will be offended. But I will tell you that from my experience and conversations that I've had over 15 years on this project, nearly all want people to know what happened in Fallujah, whether you are an Iraqi civilian or you are a member of the coalition, either side," end quote. Tamti's interview has sparked a fair amount of online debate and was presumably the subject of a tweet from Naughty Dog co-president Neil Druckmann, who said on Monday that games that deal with serious subject matter are, quote, "inherently political," end quote. How you doing, Mooney? You're all right.
Neil Druckmann isn't wrong there with that little statement there. He's pretty much right what you're about to say, I think. So I'm going to leave this to Amy. Enjoy, ladies and gentlemen, because I think this might take a bit.
Might take a minute.
Take your time.
Well,
be patient.
Well, I mean, we can both unpack the headline, right? Before I start diving into the specifics of the absolute, and let me be quite clear and frank here and burn some bridges. Peter Tamte is a fucking moron. But let's get past that for a second and talk about 6 Days in Fallujah not being a political game. Like, there was a funny joke, because we talked about this last week on the podcast, yes. And there was a funny joke that we made and that was circling around the internet for the few days after the 6 Days in Fallujah is coming back story, which was, I can't wait until they do the interview where they try to claim it's not a political game. And it was a funny joke. A week, less than a week later, here we are. 6 Days in Fallujah, a game set in the Iraq War, in a real battle, featuring real people. But it's not a political game.
Nope.
No.
Not at all.
Not at all. The mind boggles. Like, there's nothing that these video game publishers will try to claim is not political. They could create a video game where you assassinate a real world political leader in a foreign country and claim it's not a political game. At this point, I feel like, as an example.
I think someone would.
Someone probably already has. I don't know. I don't play all the shit that comes up on Steam.
True.
Like, it's... anyway. I'm finding the quote.
For us as a team, innit?
Sorry, there's tons of stuff. The one thing that I wanted that popped into my head as I was reading it, the part where it was Tamti was defending the game and talking about everybody wants the story of the second battle of Fallujah. Everybody wants the story to be told, right? Everybody wants to know what happened, right? Everybody wants to tell what happened. Except the game isn't going to tell you what happened. It's right here in the earlier part of the story. While the game will present these stories, blah, 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 Tamti said 6 Days in Fallujah won't cover the controversial use of white phosphorus and depleted uranium munitions by US forces during the battle. You know, two things that happened.
He contradicts himself right from the bit throughout the article, yes.
Two things that actually happened. I wonder why he doesn't want to talk about those two specific things. Could it be because they're war crimes? Could it be because 15 years later, children are still being born with cancer in Fallujah because the United States allegedly used uranium munitions during the battle? depleted uranium munitions during the battle. If they were using uranium munitions during the battle, Godzilla probably would have erupted out of the surface of the planet. Like, I was worried last week when we talked about this that given the game itself and the subject matter, and given how the United States depicts war in its video games, just in general, and all of its entertainment, to be fair, and given the involvement of the Department of Defense and the United States military, that this was just going to be US propaganda. This is just going to be US propaganda. It exists purely to make you feel good about shooting the brown people, who are all bad. Except for the 10% of the game where you get to play as the Iraqi civilian, who will probably be rescued by United States soldiers and be very thankful. Even though...
America.
even though, in reality, it was the coalition forces that shut all of those people in the city right before the battle, because they refused to let men and boys who were fighting age leave the city just in case they were bad guys. And then the death toll went up when the shooting started. I did a lot of reading about this conflict, which I admittedly didn't know that much about before last week. I'll just hold my hands up and say, look, I'm not a student of history, or even recent history, but I learned a lot. I kind of had to.
That's fair.
And this game is. I said it on Twitter in response to seeing this this interview go up, that if you're going to make a game called 6 Days in Fallujah set during the real battle, and you've got nothing to say, because that's essentially, if you're making a game that's not making a political statement, you've got nothing to say. This game is worthless. In fact, it is offensive.
Agreed.
It just is.
The thing is about it, they made a political statement just by the title of the name. 6 Days in Fallujah. That's the thing about it. They hurt themselves straight away from that. And then when they're trying to dig down, saying this and if all the other all over the place things that they're saying, it's just crazy. And like, I'm very uneducated about this game. I won't lie. I said that last week, Liz, and that's why I abstained from really speaking about it. And I'll say right now, I haven't done my due diligence to even research into the game or anything like that. I'm only going off what me and Amy have spoken about, like last week and other things and everything. But it's just, the whole thing is just completely American propaganda. That's all. American Marine military propaganda. To the whole thing where you're just like, you're keeping out the two important things about what happened on those 6 days, which you've just touched upon, Amy, and saying you're going to play, what was it, 10% as an Iraq father attempting to get his family out of the city. 10%. I guarantee you this right now, lady. Now that's going to be like between the opening and to the opening of The Last of Us to the spoilers for The Last of Us, the character death that happens really fast in the game. That's basically going to be how long that is.
Maybe even shorter. It's a military
it will not be very long whatsoever. We know this. They've made this game to be a first-person military shooter to go in and shoot Iraqs. It's what they wanted to do. It's what they've gone out and done. And to kind of trying to keep digging your heels in. To even more like that, like they've dug their heels in so much that this game is now actually coming out, because this was meant to come out years ago. And it's now 2021, not 2004. Yes, there's still repercussions that have gone on with the world and Iraq and everything. Still to this day, we know this. But this thing happened almost 20 years ago now. And to try, I just think to do this is incredibly irresponsible for the subject matter alone. It's incredibly irresponsible. If you want to tell all of the stories, you do it properly and not where you are picking up a machine gun to shoot people in it, which you will be doing in this game as a first-person shooter. You're not telling the stories.
No. That a game like that there is a game like this, a version of this game, told from the point of view of an American soldier, that could be really good. It'd be really, really. I don't want to say interesting, but that's kind of, you know what I mean. Like it would be a good game to play. Like it would be horrible, obviously, but one that told a story that was actually trying to say something about the horror that the Battle of Fallujah was for everybody who was there.
Agreed.
This isn't that game. This is Call of Duty, but not fictionalized. Like, the battle was real. The people were real. The soldiers were real. The insurgents were real. The civilians who died were real. The city is real, and still to this day faces the consequences of the actions of the coalition forces in 2004.
This game spits on everyone who was involved, especially all the innocents. Like, spits on them, and it's disgusting. I would implore anyone not to play this game. For me personally, not because I'm trying to start an agenda or anything like that. Just because this is not human decency. This game, and there's many games that there's first-person shooters, and I enjoy first-person shooters. I hold my hand up. I admit that.
I love a good first.
But this is a game I would not ever touch.
Spec Ops: The Line did it really, really quite well about the psychological toll of combat on an American military soldier, and was very anti hoorah America, you know, all that stuff. It did a really good job. Go play that instead.
I haven't played it, but I do know about what that did, though.
Learned something. Go read about the Battle of Fallujah. It's not great reading.
Let's do that. I guarantee you there'll always be a documentary out there for it. I'd be surprised if there isn't.
Yeah, fuck.
And it's not this game, ladies and gentlemen. It's not this game. This isn't a documentary for this this terrible thing that happened in 2004.
No, again, my fuck this game, fuck this developer. Fuck this game, fuck this publisher attitude doesn't come from the sheer existence of the game, but what I know the game to be based on, the trailer that I've seen, and the information that I've read, and now the interview that I've read. So yeah, fuck this, fuck him, fuck it all. Now let's talk about Nintendo. We got to swerve in completely the opposite direction and talk about Nintendo.
Nintendo, indeed.
See, like, sometimes I think about where I put news stories and the order that I put them in. And breathe. Now, how do you want to do this, Mooney? Do we want to go... Because I've got a news story here. It's from Tom Phillips over at Eurogamer. Everything announced in tonight's Nintendo Direct. Do we want to go game by game, or do you want me to read the whole thing and we talk about it all at once?
Let's read the whole thing and we'll talk about it all at once.
Okay.
If we miss anything, we miss anything. It's not that it wasn't important or anything like that. It's just those things just didn't click for us or anything like that.
Let's start with the big stuff. The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD is launching for Nintendo Switch on the 16th of July, and this time the motion controls are optional. Praise the sun. This year is Zelda's 35th anniversary, though Nintendo remained quiet on its other plans for the series for now. Closing the show, Nintendo dropped an unexpected teaser for Splatoon 3. It's not coming until 2022, though it features an upside-down Eiffel Tower and a robot crab. Hopefully it's worth the wait. As mentioned already, I cut out of some paragraphs because they were just fluff. Both Pyra and Mithra joined Super Smash Bros. Ultimate from their original appearances in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. The duo are the latest to arrive as part of the game's Ultimate Fighters Pass Volume 2, which previously added Minecraft and Final Fantasy characters. Mario Golf Super Rush was announced for Switch and teased off on the 25th of June. It has optional Wii Golf-like motion controls and a story mode where you play as your Mii. And in other Nintendo game news, 3DS sim Miitopia will arrive for Switch on the 21st of May, while remakes for Famicom Detective Club titles The Missing Heir and The Girl Who Stands Behind will launch as a bundle on the 14th of May. We also got a quick look at Animal Crossing New Horizons' long-awaited Mario items. One actually useful addition will be Mushroom Kingdom-style warp pipes you can use to travel about. Bean Battle Royale Fall Guys is coming to Switch this summer, and perhaps other platforms too. It first arrived on PC and PlayStation last year. The well-regarded Outer Wilds is coming to Nintendo Switch at some point later in 2021. Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville launches in March. It's the latest game from the Garden Warfare team and the first Nintendo Switch game to use EA's Frostbite engine. Annapurna Interactive announced Neon White, a first-person shooter where you exterminate demons in anime heaven. It's coming in winter 2021 to Switch and PC, developed by Donut County's Ben Esposito. Shout out to the best name for a game ever. Project Triangle Strategy is the SRPG successor to Octopath Traveler, and it's due in 2022. And there's a demo on the eShop right this very minute. Star Wars Hunters is a new free-to-play online squad-based arena multiplayer game set between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. It's coming to Switch in 2021 from Zynga. We also saw team-based multiplayer dodgeball game Knockout City from Mario Kart home circuit developer Velan Studios, which launches on the 21st of May. And as previously announced, Apex Legends arrives on the 9th of March and Monster Hunter Rise on the 26th of March. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is getting an expansion pass with 2 waves of DLC due in June, then November 2021. The pass is on sale now, priced $17.99, though exactly what you'll get is still to be revealed. World's End Club from the developer of Danganronpa and Zero Escape arrives on the 28th of May. Meanwhile, Samurai Warriors 5 was announced for Switch and will launch this summer. There's also a Legend of Mana remake coming to Switch, PC, and PS4 on June 24th. Tales from the Borderlands launches for Switch on the 23rd of March, a few weeks after its other recently announced new console versions. Saga Frontier Remastered arrives for Switch on the 15th of April. The Ninja Gaiden Master Collection turns up on the 10th of June. No More Heroes 3 launches on the 27th of August. A physical version of Hades will be released on the 19th of March with some extra bits and pieces. Stubbs the Zombie in Rebel Without a Pulse launches on the 16th of March. DC Superheroes Girls Teen Power launches on the 4th of June. It's a 50-minute track.
Yes, it was. Well, they haven't done anything. They didn't do anything in 2020 at all. So.
Like, it was a full direct. It was like I don't want to say proper direct, because, like, you know, I've enjoyed the smaller directs that they did in 2020, but, like, it was a full-on, here's the first half of 2021 with a little bit of what's coming later.
Yeah, this was very beefy. Personally, I won't lie, a lot of fluff. I won't lie personally. Sorry, Nintendo fans. I know were itching for one of these Nintendo Directs. I think they had over 1 million people on one stream watching it. I don't know if it was on Twitch or if it was YouTube, but I'm just like, damn.
People are ready.
So Sony and Nintendo can hit 1 million people on like Twitch or YouTube, but Microsoft, when they do a thing, they scratch around the 600,000, 700,000, which is an incredible number still.
They're still incredible numbers. I think the only one that ever rose from those two was the PS5 showcase.
Yeah.
No, the thing is, right, and I noticed this last week when I was playing Bowser's Fury. Like, because you know how the Switch UI is basically the PS4 UI, where it's like, all the games are in a line on the thing. I only played 3 games on my Switch in 2020.
I don't think I played anything except Pokemon on my Switch last year.
Did I play 3? Was it 3 or was it 2? I played Animal Crossing.
No, I played Animal Crossing.
Obviously, for the first half of 2020.
Forgot about that. I forgot about Animal Crossing.
And then I don't think I turned much. I played Super Mario Bros. 35 for a bit.
Yeah.
That was the last time I turned my Switch on. When we did the very first weekly review podcast. Because that was one of the first games we talked about. That was the last time I turned my Switch on before Bowser's Fury. So people, I feel like, are ready for new Nintendo content, right? Because, like, Nintendo, my Switch isn't a console I'm going to play third-party games on. It isn't. That's what my PS5 is for.
Even though there's a game that I think you and me are gonna smash like crazy at the end of March, Amy, Monster Hunter Rise. I'm getting a little hyped for that. That looked pretty sexy when I saw it. I was thinking, oh, you're looking pretty sexy. I won't lie. I was thinking, you and me
you got co-op,
can team up, slice and shoot animals to death to get the resources to death. I think that could be a pretty decent game.
I need to make a hat out of a monster. It's just how it works. Like
you're gonna have to, yes.
Monster Hunter Rise is two things that I love. I wouldn't say the most. It's two things I really love combined. It's fashion and extreme bloody violence.
You can have big ass weapons as well, like a big ass sword. I'm like, bring it on.
If I could in real life go out and hunt monsters and then turn them into like a new handbag, like I might have an entirely different career in front of me.
That's true. So there was one question I want to ask you. So I think F1 was foreseeing that there was going to be a HD remaster of Skyward Sword coming for Zelda.
Yeah.
I think that was always hinted at. I think everyone was surmising that was going to come eventually.
Yeah.
For me, and this is just
we talked about that in our predictions podcast.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. For me, this tells me Breath of the Wild 2 is not coming this year, and I think it's going to be next year because I think if this was going to come this year, I think they were going to show it. They would have shown it. Unless they are literally holding out for a big explosion at E3 for nothing but Zelda, like they did with Zelda Breath of the Wild.
They did it with Smash Brothers.
Yeah. That's the only reason why I can think that it comes this year, but two Zeldas this year, it just seems
it's going to be way more than... Because they're going to do more HD stuff, I think. Like, I was thinking about this last night, where it was like Mario got 3 games in one package. And
it's just got 2 other ones just last week as well.
Yeah, and obviously the Bowser's Fury,
which my copy is on the way, Amy. Just so you know, we can team up. Yeah,
I haven't sent it back yet, so
yeah, keep all of it.
But I think and this isn't to disparage Mario games. I just think Zelda games are bigger. Like, I don't think you release 3 Zelda games in one collection. That's an absurd amount of game.
I agree with you there. So I understand where you're coming from with that.
So I feel like we're gonna get other Zelda games throughout the year, like ports, like whatever was ported to Wii U. Because I know there was a Wind Waker HD game, for example.
I know everyone's screaming for Wind Waker.
Wind Waker has to be done. Can you imagine Wind Waker remastered, uppriced, upscaled? Those graphics in HD or even in 4K, like.
Oh, the last Zelda game I played was which one was it? It was the recent one they just released 2 years ago, I think, was it? It was a remake as well.
Link's Awakening. The Game Boy one, Link's Awakening.
That's it. That was phenomenal. I loved that. I played it. I was thinking, oh, this is just so good.
But here's why this is really a big news, right? Because, yes, I'm 50-50 on Breath of the Wild 2. I think either way, I think there's going to be a big blowout at some point in 2021, which is, here's your Breath of the Wild 2 direct, and it's going to break the internet in half. But this direct was a miss for me.
I think it was boring.
Like, it had a lot of good stuff in it. Like, good, not great, good. There's a distinction. It is literally Zelda's 35th anniversary this weekend.
Oh, that's a huge miss.
And they came out and they did their thing. You know, there's going to be a Nintendo Direct. It's going to be 50 minutes long, and it's going to be tomorrow. That was the announcement. And it's like, they're doing a Direct, a massive, proper Nintendo Direct, days before the Legend of Zelda 35th anniversary. So normally when we talk about, people were just disappointed because they got their expectations in the wrong place, is usually how we come down on people being disappointed in stuff like this. Like, I feel like anyone who is disappointed, like, I feel like Nintendo put those expectations in a certain place just by the timing of the Direct. And not saying, actually, this isn't going to be a Zelda Direct.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they said it's for all the games that are coming out in the first half of 2021. I get that. Maybe read the room. Maybe.
Just a little bit. But again, at the same time, Nintendo aren't coming to the people. I think anyone, Microsoft as well, and Sony, they shouldn't be shouldn't accommodate the fans to the people of that. Oh, there's a anniversary coming up. That means we have to do something. I understand where you're coming from with the read the room thing. I understand that. I do agree from a certain point of view, but at the same time, I'm just like fans. 9 times out of 10, and we're all guilty of it, can overhype the crap out of something. So if anyone came out going disappointed or anything like that, that's partially a lot on them.
On our owners, any other company treating an anniversary like whatever, I would agree with. But Nintendo do make big deals out of their anniversaries, like we just saw last year. Mario got its big games, its big direct, its 3D re-releases, it's Super Mario Bros. 35, which is gonna stop existing in like less than a month. But so like yes, but also Nintendo can't have it both ways, right? Where it's like we're gonna do this massive blowout for our big franchise. Big franchise as
they say big
anniversary.
Franchise or franchises.
They do it for all sorts of anniversaries. Yeah. There's always
for me, going off from the tweet, it's just a big Nintendo to reveal what's coming. They've done that. I understand where you're coming from, but they also did announce in the thingy they're going to do a blowout. The official date for the 35th anniversary is this weekend. What you said, but whole year is the anniversary. So
and again,
they've also got. Go on, sorry, Michael.
And again, all they had to do is just say no. This isn't the Zelda. This isn't the Zelda you're looking for. Or even just announce the other HD remasters that we know they're going to release.
I agree with that part. I think a lot of people, I was watching the Game Informer one, and they were like, "There's still 10 minutes left of this thing." And they go to one more thing type of thing. There's got to be the Zelda's thing. It's got to be Zelda's and everything like that. And I was thinking, all right,
it's got to be.
So this also tells me this thing. What this direct does tell me, we're getting a huge Pokemon direct soon. I think we're going to be getting a Pokemon direct soon. They're gonna have something for the end of the year, and they also going to want to show off that battle royale thing that they've got coming for it. But I won't lie. I think a lot of the big Pokemon fans are thinking they were going to be getting a new big game this year. If it's a HD remake of Diamond and Pearl, or if it's a new Let's Go series, who knows? But I think for me, there's a Pokemon Direct coming soon for this. Because that's just my thinking on that. But
I think there's going to be just a big Direct with a lot of news in June.
Oh hell yeah!
Like, that's where I think a lot of this stuff is going to come. Nintendo have got a bit of a problem where there's too much we're expecting from them. And again, not from, I've set my expectations too high, from things they have said and done and announced in the past. Like they have literally told us Breath of the Wild 2 is a thing almost 2 years ago, and have said nothing about it since. Bayonetta 3, Metroid Prime 4, Pokemon, other Zelda stuff.
Yeah.
What's the 3D Mario team doing? Like, there's all sorts of different things that we know we're waiting for and we know we're expecting. So then when you sit down to a direct and it's Mario Golf, which, hey, cool. You know what? A lot of people are excited for Mario Golf. Mario Golf is a cool game.
I think it could be fun.
But when your one more thing is a game that's not going to be coming out for over a year.
Well, Splatoon 3.
It's like, look, I'm excited for Splatoon 3, and I really want to play Splatoon 3, but it's like I always say to you, I'm more excited for games that are closer. Like,
oh, definitely, yeah.
So, like, when you're like, one more thing, and it's like, ooh, what's the one more thing? It's a game that's not coming out till 2022. Guys, it's February. Like,
there's a couple of games that they showed that were 2022s.
It's February, guys. Why? Why would you do that?
If I was right, didn't they show a game that was 2023, or am I mistaken there?
I don't know. I think PlayStation so far is the only company that's shown a 2023 game.
Yeah, but
I mean, I'm sure a few people have shown 2023 games. They just haven't. They just don't know it yet. But the other one you're thinking of is Project Triangle Strategy, which shout out to the name. And again,
that's got to be Octo Traveler 2, right?
Yeah, it's a very different type. I think I saw someone talk about it like it's a spiritual successor, but it's a different gameplay style.
Okay.
So it's like a strategy RPG as opposed to a turn-based RPG. Um, and again, it's like Splatoon 3. It's like I'm really looking forward to Project Triangle Strategy.
I've spoken to a person who's played the demo of this, and this is their response from me.
I'll go for it.
Immediately got a thing saying, oh no, loaded up the game. Immediately got a thing saying, this is the middle of the game. You will not understand anything, and we made combat super hard just for this demo. Really heavy cutscenes, a lot of cutscenes, very boring. They said,
Yeah, I mean, demos can be weird like that, right?
yeah,
Where it's just like, okay, cool. Like all I need from a demo is gameplay, and then maybe a cutscene at the end, right? Like, if you're just dropping me into the game with no context, like the amount of times I've been to EGX, right, where I've played a demo of a game at EGX, for example, and been dropped into the game, like somewhere in the game, and just given no context, no tutorializing, no nothing, and I've walked away going, that was a bad demo. Not that was a bad game. That was a bad demo.
Yeah, they're two different things. Yeah. So it's overall, I think the showing was boring. I think there was a lot of fluff, and I think like a lot of people were expecting that one more big thing that's going to be coming this year. And then when they got around to Zelda, and the guy literally said, "I know you want us to talk about Breath of the Wild too. We have been working on it for a while now, and we're in hard on production. We're going to talk about it later on in the year."
I wonder how many of those million people just went
literally liked it. Bye. Everyone who was hard for this conference literally went so limp. They'll never be hard for a while. But yeah, it's yeah, like I can only imagine like half the time, every time I hear there's a new Smash Bros character, I hear half the internet's going crazy saying these are not the ones we want or anything like that. So I can only imagine this is probably what happened again with these two pair of characters who are the same character but switch whatever. I don't really know. I don't know Xenoblade Chronicles, so I can't comment on very well. But I'm just like, okay.
I tried. It's not for me. There's too much. It's a game I will define as having too, like, you know me. It has too much anime. Like, my anime bullshit threshold was reached quite early on playing that game, and I was like, I'm alright, thanks.
Yeah, you do have an anime bullshit threshold. Yeah, I think a lot of us do, I won't lie. And it's just how much they can get. I'll say this right now. Mario Golf, I thought was cute and adorable. I was thinking, this looks like it could be fun. And I still sit back, chill and stream, whacking some balls. I think it'd be a fun little game.
You know my relationship with fun golf games. I still love everybody's golf on PS4. It's great.
Again, I think you and me are gonna smash Monster Hunter Rise like crazy. I think we're gonna have to take that week off, even if we're college or not.
Can we talk, like...
So, guys, we're not here for Among Us this week. And
can we talk about the fact that there was a Star Wars game revealed halfway through this direct, and it was just such a non-event, and I've heard nobody talking about it, like, ever. Not even us.
It's a non-event. That's like, free-to-play online squad-based arena multiplayer game
from Zynga. Yeah.
And I'm just
then.
sitting between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens.
So basically, now that EA doesn't have exclusivity to the Star Wars license, the needle has swung completely in the opposite direction, where it's just we're going to get a deluge of too many Star Wars games.
That's the thing about it. This thing's probably been that revealed for when that announcement was happening, that these people and these other companies can now start doing it. That was already being built. Those negotiations, contracts were already signed. Like this game. They're showing it, so that it's like we're ready to go. We're bringing it out next year. So this game has been in development for at least 2 years, which is funny enough. Round the time when the whole craziness for Battlefront 2 happened. Well, that was 3 years ago now, but I digress. But yeah, it's it was a lot of fluff. This thing. I'm happy for all the Nintendo fans and everything, and like there are some interesting games that are coming out and everything, but there were also a lot of games that were just like, huh. Legend of Mana. I like the look of that. I was thinking, I know it's a
Yes.
remake, but that did look really good.
Trials of Mana was a fun game last year. I'm like, I didn't see that. Like, okay, I'm just gonna be real here. I didn't watch the direct live, so I just caught bits and pieces of it afterwards. I was playing D&D, so I just caught like the trailers and stuff. I didn't watch the Legend of Mana trailer, but Trials of Mana was pretty good last year. So
The Legends of Mana, I believe, is the original first game. Excuse me. So it looked interesting. It looked good. A big shout out to, I think that, I won't lie, I think this was the biggest one, but I think it just slipped so far under the radar. It's just like, wait, they're releasing the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection.
yep.
Ninja Gaiden is one of the classic games out there, trilogies out there, and that just like sliced it into the Nintendo Direct. We're done.
I think, and
There we go.
I don't mean to be disparaging to either Ninja Gaiden or. Oh, that does look cute. Disparaging in Ninja Gaiden or Nintendo or anything else, but when you don't have that one big thing to hang off of your press conference, direct, whatever, like, and everything is kind of equal footing.
Yeah.
Like, because outside of Zelda and probably Mario Golf and Splatoon 3, like, everything else is pretty much on equal footing, but that's a lot to be on equal footing. Like, some things just do disappear. Like,
Yeah.
Microsoft has had this problem a lot in the last few years.
Yeah. We're revealing 50 games. Wait, what?
Like, remember when? Yeah,
60
exactly.
games.
Like,
Wait, what?
remember the Spiritfarer, one of the most beloved games of 2020, that was revealed at a Microsoft E3 press conference. Nobody remembers it.
I won't lie. I was, that was me. I was one of them until you told me about it, and you literally swiped it in OpenCritic, not on OpenCritic, Fantasy League. You went, I got that game.
Yeah. Like, No More Heroes 3 is launching on August 27th. And, like, you know, it's not a big mainstream, everybody loves this game, but I feel like that's a bigger deal than being the third to last paragraph. Yeah, there's, like I say, there's a lot of good stuff. There just wasn't very much great stuff. And this isn't a PlayStation Direct. This isn't a Xbox gameplay reveal. Like, this is a Nintendo Direct, man. Like, the expectations, I feel like, are naturally higher for a Nintendo Direct because they've got their shit together. They know how to do these shows. And that's just how it is. That's just the reality of the situation. And it feels like it wasn't quite up to scratch on Thursday, Wednesday, whatever the fuck it was.
That is true.
Days, time, how does time work? Anyway. You know what? I'm going to segue from that to a news story I put further down, and then we'll circle back because I want to now talk about Reggie Fils-Aimé on E3. If the ESA doesn't figure out how to do this, someone else will. This is from Marie Dealessandri over at GamesIndustry.biz, who writes, former Nintendo of America president Reggie Fils-Aimé was critical of a digital E3 that wouldn't offer hands-on with the games being showcased, adding that plans for the 2021 edition don't sound all that compelling. During an interview with Gamertag's founder and host Danny Pena, Fils-Aimé was asked about the ESA's plans to bring back E3 in a virtual way once again this year, following up on the cancelled 2020 edition due to COVID-19. Fils-Aimé acknowledged that the ESA is on the right track and absolutely right in doing a digital E3 as it can attract a much wider audience than the typical in-person event. But the lack of playable content is what could jeopardize the event, he continued. Quote, I think that the platform holders need to find a way to digitally enable their fans, their players, to experience the content. Because that's the key for E3, right? We're going to come back to this sentence. The ability to be playing The Last of Us Part 3 for the first time, or to play that next Breath of the Wild game for the first time, or to play the next great game coming from the new amalgamation of all the Xbox studios.
Did Reggie Fils-Aimé just announce Last of Us Part 3?
Probably.
Before Naughty did?
Did he just throw shade at Xbox? Like, this well-known PlayStation game, or this well-known Nintendo game, or yeah, whatever Xbox is doing. I'm sure they're doing something.
I thought they were one. 2 years ago, they were one on the Game Awards. Now, we all see it. The Japanese companies are sticking together after all.
He continues, to play for the first time is what's magical, and the platform holders need to figure out how to deliver that experience to their fans during an E3-like digital experience. I think that will be huge. End quote. He added that if the ESA doesn't solve that equation, another company will, mentioning the work Jeff Keighley did to replace E3 2020. Quote, what I've read doesn't go down that path, and if you don't have all these different elements working together, so the big announcements, the hands-on, the opportunity and a well-defined time frame to have all of these announcements, I think that's the key to a successful E3 in the future, and candidly, if the ESA doesn't do it, then other people will. Jeff did something very provocative last year with his Summer of Games event. He's going to do something similar again this year, so if the ESA doesn't figure out how to do this, someone else will. End quote. I need to get some things. I've got thoughts as I was reading what Reggie said. So normally I would let you comment, but there's a few things I want to say. One, Reggie totally backs me up. And the opportunity in a well-defined time frame to have all of these announcements. We talked about this when we talked about the E3 2020, when we compared it to the Summer of Games. Sorry, E3, and where it was like, it was too long. Maybe compact that, but I hate to disagree with Reggie because I love him, right? I love Reggie dearly. Like, he's an uncle that I see once a year.
He's an uncle for gamers out there.
I feel like
a lot of us don't know him.
He's my uncle, all right? He's my Uncle Reggie. He's my uncle who works at Nintendo. But, and I get what he's saying. What he's saying is a good idea, right? About being able to play the demos of the biggest games, like The Last of Us Part 3, or the next Breath of the Wild, or whatever shit Microsoft's making. But what he actually says is that this is what E3's about. And I hate to break it to you, Reggie, but until a couple of years ago, that's not what E3 was about at all. Nobody could play games at E3, Reggie. I've never been able to play a demo off the back of E3, except like one Resident Evil demo I think got revealed and announced and put up on the store. It's a fantastic idea, and I think Jeff Keighley or the ESA, one of the two, should definitely pursue it. But that's not what E3 is about. E3 is about hype, probably too much hype, but
definitely too much hype.
It's about announcements, and it's about trailers, and it's about gameplay reveals, and it's about all those funny, quirky moments, and those heartwarming moments, and all those really cringeworthy moments.
Yeah.
But it's never been about playing a game.
I'll go a step further with that. It's about meeting up with your friends, staying up incredibly late with pizza or junk food, just talking about the hypeness of all the conference, what we're hoping to see and everything, just having that full-on discussion with friends and everything. That's what it's all about. We don't... thousands of people may get to go to this thing, Reggie. Millions of people watch it online, don't get to play these games until they release. So what you're saying here is spot on. Yes, Reggie, I do completely disagree with you there. I agree with what you're saying, that Jeff Keighley tried something different last year, and some of it worked, some of it didn't work, and hopefully Jeff has took the feedback on board, and he's hopefully him and the ESA are just flicking talking and just saying, yo, let's try and figure something out here, do something over 1 week or whatever. Hopefully. Come on, you two, you can do this. But he's also right that if the ESA don't figure something out, people will do something different.
Yes.
Do their own thing. Jeff Keighley proved it last year. Even if we've commented on many times of that, some of it worked, some of it didn't. But it's a whole thing when it comes to this, man. And it's like E3, it's going to be interesting. Yeah. Whatever that announcement's going to be, and it's probably going to be the main story that week for all of us, and for all podcasters out there. Whenever that announcement comes from the ESA to whatever they're actually doing, it's going to be scrutinized like crazy.
Yeah. It's going to be half an hour podcast segment for us. We're going to be messaging backwards and forwards about it for days and weeks. And then we're going to sit down and go, yeah, it was all right. But, regardless of whether it's the fact that Reggie seems to have, I don't know, he might have just misspoke and said this is what they should do. That's what he might have meant, because it is what they should do. If The Last of Us Part 3 was revealed at E3 2021, which I know it's not going to be, but hey, we can all dream, right? and there's a demo for press, right? But why couldn't there be a demo for the PS5 that everybody can have a shot at? That's where it seemed to be going last year because Jeff Keighley when he was announcing the summer of gaming, like I feel like if I go back and watch podcasts where we're talking about what the summer of gaming looks like, I feel like a part of that was us looking forward to playing all of these demos, and we got a lot of demos. No AAA games though.
Yeah,
yeah,
all small companies.
Yeah, we didn't get any AAA demos though. Like, I played some great demos over the summer last year, and I'll probably play some great demos this year. But it's like, can you imagine if there was there was an Xbox E3 style press conference in June, and if Halo Infinite was there, and Hellblade 2 was there, and I don't know, Fable was there. Let's just say those 3 games were there, and I was like, cool, and you can see the previews of the extended demo that we showed to all the press. But there's a demo coming to the Xbox Store after the showcase ends.
The internet would break.
Well, I mean, the servers on the Xbox Store.
The servers on the Xbox would die. Yeah.
But that's I don't know. It's just, for me, that's a no-brainer. That should be where it goes next. Like,
it should be. Yes, I agree with you there. Especially if we're going more digital.
Which, I mean, yeah, definitely.
It does show that it is. Like, it does show
this was going to happen in 5 or 10 or 15 years. Like, this was going to be more and more digital over the course of that time. It's just that the pandemic has kind of sped this up because now everything has to be digital or it's not happening. That was 2020's whole deal. So, like...
Told you going digital works, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's just get with the program. Let's talk about something else, though. Might have to delete a few stories. But not this one. Report. Google told Stadia developers progress was great. Began layoffs 5 days later. This is from Rich Stanton over at PC Gamer. He writes, just over 2 weeks ago, Google made the surprise announcement that it was abandoning all first-party development plans and moving its Stadia business plan completely. All internal Stadia development studios were closed alongside the departure of Jade Raymond, who had joined Google as head of development studios. Job losses were estimated to be in the region of 150. A new report from Kotaku's Nathan Grayson reveals that just 5 days prior to this announcement, Stadia head Phil Harrison was reassuring these internal teams that nothing was amiss. On January 27th, an email was circulated from Harrison that read in part, quote, Stadia Games and Entertainment has made great progress building a diverse and talented team and establishing a strong lineup of Stadia exclusive games. We will confirm the SG&E investment envelope shortly, which will in turn inform the SG&E strategy, end quote. 5 days after this email, Harrison would announce the whatever the fuck that word, how you pronounce it. Quote, given our focus on building on the proven technology of Stadia as well as deepening our business partnerships, we've decided that we will not be investing further in bringing exclusive content from our internal development team SG&E beyond any near-term planned games, end quote. The developers found out this news shortly before the public announcement on February 1st, though were not able to question Harrison until the conference call on February 4th. On this Q&A, Harrison was confronted directly about his prior internal email of reassurance and, as multiple sources told Kotaku, said he regretted the email and admitted, quote, we knew, end quote. Phil Harrison doesn't come out of this smelling of roses, to say the least. However, the failure of this incarnation of Stadia and Alphabet's decision to cut its first-party studios can hardly be put at one man's feet. The publicly announced plan for Stadia's future is that the platform will continue to operate as it has, with both a free basic service and subscription-based Stadia Pro offering, but the focus going forward is on helping external developers and publishers take advantage of the technology. Phil Harrison's really not a great boss. At all.
What did we say? PlayStation 3, Xbox One, Exhibit A and B,
PlayStation 3,
Kai, Exhibit
Xbox
C.
One, Kai, Stadia.
Yeah.
But
the guys destroyed a lot of things basically, and they've had to rebuild or even Guy bought out by Sony.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's this sucks. This is crap. Like saying one thing 5 days later, saying, yeah, you're all fired.
Like, it would have been
Wait,
one
what?
thing, right, if Phil Harrison had sent an email out to all of the staff going, hey, this is great, because it is just the boilerplate, everything's great, kind of email, like the morale boosting email, and then going to a meeting, as it says in the email, to figure out what the investment looks like for the rest of the year or the next financial year, and then coming out and being like, shit, they're not investing in us. But it's the fact that yeah we knew. So why did you blow smoke up people's asses? Why couldn't you have been honest with the 150 people who were about to lose their jobs so they could maybe try and find new jobs before you pulled the rug out from under them?
Because they suck.
Because they suck.
Basically, it's a simple childlike response I think that they deserve to get, basically, because they suck, and that's what they do. It is this is just one of the terrible things that they do. They've done the same thing what Amazon tried to do, saying video games, they're easy to do, and we can create up a marketing point because we are the biggest video streaming thing out there, because we have YouTube, so we can combine these together to make people watch the things, then press a button to go play the thing using our controller and our servers and our software, and we have all the power. And it just went right in their face with a giant egg.
Yeah, basically Google and Amazon just went, like the only thing you need to make video games is money, right? I already got tons of that. Wait, that's not all you need? Oh, no.
Yeah.
I did see a news story. I didn't put it in here, but I made a mental note to mention it during this segment that, the New World, the Amazon MMO game, has been delayed again.
Of course it does.
But it's like, at least be decent to people. If you're going to be shit at video game development, and again, not the developers who worked at Stadia Games and Entertainment. I'm sure they are incredibly talented, hardworking people. I'm talking about like the people running Stadia. If you're going to be shit at game development, at least be decent to people while you do it. Same goes for you too, Amazon.
That is true.
Fucking Phil Harrison. If you see Phil Harrison, if anybody out there sees Phil Harrison coming towards their company, run. Run away. Run fast. Run far. Find a company on the other side of the world to go and work for. Go and work for them, because you need to get as far away from him as possible. Because he's going to get hired by somebody else to run their gaming division into the ground.
That guy must be the best pitcher ever. So, you burnt Sony down. You burnt the PlayStation 3 down. You burnt Xbox One. You destroyed Gaikai, so they were so cheap Sony bought them. And you ruined Google Stadia. Why should we hire you?
What if...
Well, this is... And then he just puts on a sexy face. He's like... What if
he's just got all the blackmail ever on everyone?
Well, I think it's because of this. You're hired.
Oh,
how many zeros do you want on the end of this check? Just add another 2, please.
I didn't know people still had physical photographs.
Oh, that is me in that position.
Oh no, that is me.
I swear that teddy bear was not meant to go there. Don't know why I said that. My apologies there, ladies and gentlemen. Don't look at me like that, Amy.
I did the gym thing again. I just went... Microsoft launches gaming accessibility testing platform for developers. This is from Hayden Taylor over at gamesindustry.biz, who writes, Microsoft this week revealed a new testing platform geared towards helping developers engineer and refine the accessibility of their games. Developers can now send their Xbox or PC titles directly to Microsoft and have it measured against Xbox accessibility guidelines. As outlined in a blog post by Gaming Accessibility Senior Program Manager Brannan Zahand, developers will receive comprehensive feedback and notes where issues are found, complete with reproduction steps, screenshots, and any other relevant information. Furthermore, in order to help developers understand the potential impact of their design decisions, Microsoft will include, quote, links to gaming accessibility and inclusive design documentation, non-profits, and industry-recognized subject matter experts, platform-specific technical documentation, and more, end quote. First released in January last year, the Xbox accessibility guidelines were developed in collaboration with members of the gaming and disabled community. Following feedback from developers, Microsoft carried out a review of these guidelines. Led by Caitlin Jones of the gaming accessibility team, the review focused on addressing common questions developers had around where to start and how to focus efforts. Microsoft revealed a number of new improvements to the guidelines, such as using more straightforward language, presenting clearly defined goals, and highlighting key areas to target. Among other things, the guidelines also provide a series of scoping questions which allow developers to assess where their priorities should be. Quote, perhaps the most important aspect of the program, however, is the inclusion of gamers with disabilities as part of the testing project, said DeHaan. Every test pass includes members of the gaming and disability community to not only run test cases against games, but to provide their feedback and insights as well. End quote. End article. End everything. End of podcast. Bye, everybody. This is cool.
This is cool, yeah. This is very cool. Like I said, they're doing the controller they released was highly loved by a lot of people, and for them to also continue, and them to continue with this accessibility guidelines and helping developers send their games off to them to see where it hits on their guidelines, I think is a fantastic thing. It's just going to help more and more people to be able to play their games in whatever way possible. So this is fantastic.
Yeah, it's good. It's good that like Microsoft is leading a thing on this, because like I can imagine like when you talk about like accessibility in games, like The Last of Us Part 2 in 2020 was a big example of that, but like Sony has like infinite money that it can put into The Last of Us, the development of a game like The Last of Us. Whereas, like, say, like, indie games might struggle to be able to focus on accessibility while also, like, keeping afloat during development. So, like, being able to do something like send this to, or even just use it again, or even just use it against the accessibility guidelines, or send it to Microsoft so that they can have it tested for accessibility, like, is a big deal. Yeah, no, it is a big deal. Like, I think it is a big deal.
Their mantra, what Phil Spencer says all the time, he wants all their games to be playable for everybody. Can't ask for much more for what they're doing. They've gone for it. So, well done.
Yeah, sorry. That was a really mistimed. I need to move in my chair and mute my microphone just as you'd finished talking. I was like, uh-oh. Dead air. Yeah, no, like, I've always been trying to make a big deal out of accessibility on this channel. Just because I believe the same thing. Like, games should be for everybody. And everybody should be able to play them. But let's talk about our favorite things in the whole world. Leaks. Source claims Resident Evil Outrage is the third installment in the Revelations series. This is from Sean Prescott over at PC Gamer, who writes, Resident Evil Outrage is a new game in the Revelations sub-series and will release within a year of Resident Evil Village, claims a leaker with a decent track record. The leaker is Dusk Golem, who correctly reported on Resident Evil 8 ahead of its reveal, among other things. In tweets sent sometime this week, Aesthetic Gamer aka Dusk Golem claims the game will be a timed Nintendo Switch exclusive before appearing on other platforms. That makes sense, as the first Revelations game was initially a Nintendo 3DS exclusive. To summarize, Revelations 3 will land either late this year or early next, and will release as part of the series' 25th anniversary celebrations. The years given in the tweet must be typos unless Capcom has invented time travel. I don't know why I left that parenthetical in, because I didn't leave the tweets in. But it's funny. Maybe Capcom did invent time travel. In a separate thread, Dusk Golem claims Outrage will have a higher budget and a lot more dev time than the first two Revelations installments. Due to its higher budget quality, the leaker claims Capcom may consider ditching the Revelations tag altogether. More Resident Evil. It's a yearly franchise now. That's never gone badly for any big franchise ever in the history of video games. No one gets sick of video games that come out constantly.
That's true. But everybody's thinking, but we're changing it up. See, this isn't a main line one. This isn't like 2, 3. or 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever, or 7 and 8. This is a spin-off one with completely different mechanics and different visuals and and
Like
characters
Umbrella Corps.
never characters you won't play on the main line story. So okay, if this is true, this is okay. That's how it is for me. I'm not gonna lie. So that means so they're stating this is going to be the Resi game next year, is it?
This is probably going to be the Resi game next year. Revelations 3, basically. Whether they decide to keep Revelations as the subtitle or not, Revelations 3 is going to be the next game after Resident Evil 8.
So for 2023 then?
Well, it'll be 2022. So it might be. Like, it depends how far along they are with 4 remake. Like, we knew that once they made 2, the 3 remake was already in development. Like, we didn't know, but we knew, like, intelligently that, like, of course they're going to remake 3 if they're remaking 2. But, like, with 4, I don't know how long that has been in dev, or how long it would take. Resident Evil 4 is a bigger game than 2 and 3. Just in terms of its length.
Don't tell MC fix it up.
I wasn't planning on it, but maybe, I don't know. I'm trying not to get too far ahead with this Resident Evil stuff. Like, so I got Village, and then Revelations 3, and then maybe a remake of Resident Evil 4 in 2023. I don't know. I'm just really looking forward to Village. Like, I'm just going to say that right now. Look, I'm tunnel visioning Resident Evil from here on out, right?
Yeah.
It's like there are 73 future Resident Evil games in development. Right, okay, right. But right now, I'm just going to focus on the one with the big vampire lady in it. Okay? Like, I can only handle so much.
Yeah, that's all she's thinking about all online list, though. Is the big vampire lady.
I'm not going to lie, right? Like, from where I was, and it's not just because of the big vampire lady, I'm speaking wholly sincerely here. I mean, it is a part of it for sure, but not the whole part. Like from where I was at, sort of, let's say, like summer 2020 for like my excitement for Resident Evil Village, because when it was revealed, if you remember, it was the PS5 showcase, and you and I both went, that trailer did not do anything for me.
Yeah, we both read that. Yeah.
To where I'm at now, where it's like, of all of the games like in coming up with release dates, like, this is the one I'm most excited about. So, like, that's impressive. Like, Capcom have done an impressive job of marketing this game to me, because I really want to play it.
Stick a sexy, tall vampire lady in there.
That's only a part of the equation, okay?
Us human beings have simple needs. Capcom have realized that. Big, tall vampire ladies.
That's only going to be on one part of the game, for starters. Like, there's all the sections of the game that aren't going to have big vampire lady in them.
How are you going to feel when you probably have to kill the character?
It'll be fine. I'll be over it by then.
You would have let her kill you many times there. Oh no, this is not meant to happen. Oh, why am I letting this happen? Pushing my hair back while I'm doing this.
She's literally stepping on me. Oh no.
Oh, I didn't realize we're getting this frisky.
Someone at Capcom knew exactly what they were doing when they created that character. Someone at Capcom needs a raise. Okay, we've got time for... Oh, we should have time for both of these. Valve bans developer who sneakily named his company Very Positive on Steam. This is from Matt Wales over at Eurogamer. He writes, a developer has been booted off Steam after brazenly attempting to trick users into buying its games by naming its company Very Positive. You can probably see where this is going already, but look at a game's Steam page and you'll see several prominent fields in the info panel to the right. A game's customer rating, displayed in bright blue if positive, is easy to spot at a glance, and it's likely to be the first place many Steam users look when opening a page. I think I might be in the minority, because the first place I look is the screenshots. Crucially for this story, however, there's some other similarly presented information nearby in the form of developer and publisher fields. Noticing this, once Noticing this, one devious, if ultimately rather naive developer decided to exploit this potentially confusing proximity, listing their name and publisher as very positive on their Emoji Evolution game's Steam page. Quote, I knew that reviews have a huge impact on the customer's decision, the developer, using the name Mike, told Vice. I noticed that the publisher-developer name is located really close to the reviews and has the same colour, and I decided to use it for my purposes. Steam users make conclusions upon information when seeing familiar words and don't spend much time reading all the words. End quote. The ruse was first spotted by newsletter Games Discover Co., earning Mike some degree of infamy, which in turn prompted him to be less than subtle about his deception on Twitter. And while Mike was initially adamant Valve wouldn't have an issue with his scheme, telling Vice Valve fully understands how minor this trick is, that ultimately wasn't the case. With very positive games as ploy drawing increased attention as a result of the developer's brazen social media posts, the story was picked up by numerous media outlets. Valve eventually stepped in. And in a tweet posted several days ago, Mike confirmed the company has now banned his developer account from its platform, citing, quote, review manipulations, end quote. Mike says he absolutely disagrees with this accusation, but it seems there may be a little more afoot. Game Discover Co., when it first spotted Mike's Steam page hijinks, also detailed what it believed to be suspicious activity around Emoji Evolution's mysteriously positive reviews, something that would raise Valve's ire with or without that cheekily placed very positive. I don't know what he thought was going to happen. Like,
the thing is, really, like, he knows. He talks about it as well, saying, "Oh, I know what I was doing. I know exactly what I was doing."
You know exactly what he was doing.
Like,
he was on Twitter just saying, like, "Oh yeah, I did this. Yeah, it's just totally the thing I've done, and I've done it on purpose too. So like, people will see very positive and buy my game."
And so then he said, "I absolutely disagree with this accusation." But you posted, you said it on Twitter what you were doing, mate.
It is, but yeah, it is literally review manipulation. It's not review manipulation in the traditional sense where people pay for reviews, but like you're literally trying to trick people into seeing the words very positive, like, and mistake that for reviews of the game. That is review manipulation. Because I'll be honest, it would have worked on me.
But that just shows how, like what the thing says, the article says, that people, like, you say you go to the screenshots to have a look at the game and everything, or even the little video they have or whatever. Yeah, but people literally go off to see what it says. Positive, very positive, incredibly positive, or terrible, or whatever ones they've got for terrible. Yeah. Or not so positive and everything.
I mean, being a YouTube gaming person who like covers games and talks about games, like, no one should ever think of me as like the typical Steam store page browser, because if I'm on a Steam store page, I already know a lot about the game.
Yeah, but it goes back to the same thing of, doesn't it? Kind of goes back full circle back to reviews for games. Should they have scores type of thing? And this is the same thing about kind of with the very positive thing. Is like, just because it says very positive, you're not wondering, you're not clicking on to see why is it very positive. Does this mean this game is, because it says very positive, that means this game is ultimately for you? No, and it's just, that's what he's trying to manipulate. He said he didn't, and it's like, what are you talking about, mate? What horse shit are you shoveling in your mouth, mate?
The issue that Mike from Emoji Evolution, Mike from Very Positive Games, has accidentally sort of hit the nail on the head on, is people really need to pay more attention when they're browsing Steam. Like, they just do. Like, and I'll cop to it as well. Like, I probably wouldn't have clocked this the first time I went on Steam, but I don't really look at user reviews because I think they're atrocious and the worst things ever. Like,
agreed. Yeah,
but really. Like, he's hit on something accidentally. Like, people need to pay more attention to things, especially when they're potentially buying them. Right?
That is true.
Like, it's funny, but also, like, I mean, dick move. But I kind of looked at it when it first, because I saw it pop up when it first happened before he got banned, and it was kind of like, I did chuckle when I was like, okay,
it's a chuckle moment, like, no doubt about it. But it's just like,
it's like it ended exactly how I thought it was going to
end. Yeah. So,
let's move on to the last one. Speaking of chuckles. Josef Fares promises $1,000 to anyone who gets bored of It Takes Two. This is from Natalie Clayton over PC Gamer, who writes, It Takes Two, the next game from a Way Out developer Hazelight Studios, has gone gold. And Josef Fares is so confident in its success that he'll give you $1,000 if you get bored of it. At least that's what the notorious studio director told Game Informer in a recent interview. Fares, who's perhaps better known as the fuck the Oscars guy, made the bullish claim that it is impossible to get bored with his next game, which follows a little girl dealing with her parents' separation by playing with magical dolls. Quote, That's another thing that I can guarantee you if It Takes Two. It's impossible, and quote me on this, to get tired of this game. Fares told the outlet. You can put this as the headline. I can literally give $1,000 to anyone who says, "Oh, I'm tired of this game now because it doesn't surprise me." $1,000, I guarantee. I'll give it to everyone who gets tired, but they have to be honest about it. End quote. Those are bold words for a man whose last game at Way Out failed to impress in our review. Who's that? PC Gamer, dead to me.
I'd say Way Out was fantastic.
Was.
I know it's subjective, but damn, man.
It's subjective, but PC Gamer's on the banned list now. While Hazelight made a name for itself with Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons' clever co-op adventures, Chris Schilling felt it's just an advert for PC Gamer's review.
Yeah, it is really. It is, and it continues with that. It looks like it.
Considering Fares' penchant for fits of passion, I wouldn't rush to get your invoices ready, but the director's confidence in this interview is infectious. Earlier in the interview, he speaks on the frustrations of getting players to finish games, exasperated that only 51% of players finished A Way Out, despite that being a relatively high figure for games. I was going to say, that's quite high. Quote, We need to fix the problem that people are not even finishing our games. People are not even finishing the games. Listen to how sick this is. It's so sick that the developers and publishers are literally focusing on the first piece of the game because they know that's what people will play. This is a mass psychosis going on, end quote. I fucking love Josef Fares. Never change.
So I just want to quote from Mike from Very Positive Games, just to see how hypocritical I'm going to be here. Josef Fares, challenge accepted. I'll be expecting my check soon.
I'll be keeping him honest, Joseph.
He's going to scream to the heavens of how proud and excited he is for us to play this game. There's no doubt about this, and we are both excited to play this game. Yeah, we both loved and adored A Way Out and everything, and we are both going to be playing the heck out of this game when it comes out, hopefully.
Spoilers for A Way Out for the rest of this. If you haven't played A Way Out and you think you're going to, just skip past the rest of the discussion of this because I'm going to bring something up in a minute.
That's fair. Like I said, I'm joking when I said challenge accepted, but yeah, I'll say this, Joseph, first. I'm expecting at least a 90 OpenCritic score for my fantasy league later on in a couple of weeks' time, just so you know. Like at least a good 90 minimum now. Just soon, okay, mate? But no, yeah.
Fuck the OpenCritic.
Fuck the fantasy critic. Fantasy league, yeah. He's always going to be remembered for fuck the Oscars. Guys.
Watching that live
Oscars are still more entertaining than the video game awards, guys.
Have you ever woken up everybody in your entire house because you are laughing like a maniac while watching the Game Awards? Because I have. Yeah, no. Yeah.
Oscars are still better than the video game awards. I'm just going to state that for a fact.
Yes and no.
That's a subject of that. So.
I'd rather watch the Game Awards, but that's not because of the awards. Whereas I put way more stock in Oscars as awards than I do the Game Awards. That makes sense.
I understand from how you are with awards and everything. I understand.
If there's an Oscar-nominated film, I'll actually oh shit, I should probably watch this. Unless it's I look at it and go, no, that's not for me.
Yeah.
And also sometimes the Oscars gets it wrong. Like
what's the Oscar equivalent?
The Joker got nominated for
the video games for their awards. Is that the BAFTAs?
No,
or the DICE Awards.
DICE is probably the industry one. Is probably the main industry awards show.
All people did was complain last year about when they voted for what was it? The Untitled Goose Game as the best game of 2020 or 2019.
2019, like fucking do it, man. Like you do you. That's fine. It's fantastic. I didn't even put it on my list, and I still saw that and went, "Get in." That's brilliant. Yeah. It's not the Game Awards though. The Game Awards is not the main industry Game Awards thing.
It's an E3.
There's going to be E3 awards this year. Let me remind you. A Way Out's a great game, and I refute everything PC Gamer says about it. My friend Phil, who doesn't play very many games, played A Way Out and finished it. Now, unfortunately for him, he played it with his wife. And I say unfortunately for him because we all remember how A Way Out ends.
And I'm guessing he's the better of the gamers out of those two?
I don't know. I never asked who won.
Okay.
But that caught him uncomfortable. I guess I didn't actually spoil The Way Out.
You didn't know what, like... You have to kill someone, ladies and gentlemen.
You do. One of you will kill the other.
Yes.
There we go.
Spoilers.
Got to really make sure I get the time.
Game's been out for a few years. If you haven't played it yet, you're not going to play it.
You should, though. Fucking do it. It's an EA Play. It's an EA Access.
That is true, yeah. And if you got Game Pass, you've got the game.
Get on that shit.
But yeah, great game. Josef Fares. You keep on being you, mate. You keep on being you. Even though you're always just going to be remembered by fuck the Oscars.
Fuck the Oscars. Nah, you'll do
you're
something else.
You're not going to be remembered by throwing out a great game that were way out. You're not going to be remembered hopefully that Take Two's is going to be a great game.
That's my other comment I was going to make. It's always A Way Out. Developer of A Way Out. Brothers, hey, you know what? Brothers of Two Sons is a fucking great game.
I don't deny that. That was one of my favorite games. I just keep forgetting he was a part of it.
Mine too.
That's the only thing I just keep forgetting he was a part of it.
Oh, that wasn't aimed at you. Like that was aimed at every article I've ever read about Josef Fares.
But the thing is, he made himself an icon just by doing fuck the Oscars.
I mean, he is an icon because of that moment. Anyway, you've got a bit.
He just sounded like a filmmaker who was never going to get nominated for an Oscar. That's all, and he just sounded salty to me. I'm not going to lie there, saying, "Oh."
Just read the games out next week.
Oh, do I have to?
Well, it was your idea for you to do it.
Yeah, I'm regretting that idea. Okay, February 23rd, ladies and gentlemen. Persona 5 Strikers. PC, PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch. Sorry, Xbox. Personas literally do not like being on your console. But okay. Join the Phantom Thieves and strike back against the corporate overtaking cities across Japan. A summer vacation with close friends takes a sudden turn as a distorted reality emerges. Reveal the truth and redeem the hearts of those imprisoned at the center of the crisis. Next game is Curse of the Dead Gods, PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. You seek untold riches, eternal life, divine powers. Well, I won't lie, I think we all do. It leads to
Eternal life would suck.
I don't know. I think it would be good. It leads to this accurate temple, a seemingly infinite labyrinth of bottomless pits, deadly traps, and monsters. Next up is Rogue Heroes, Ruins of Tarsos. Tarsos? PC, Nintendo Switch. Rogue Heroes is a 1 to 4 player classic adventure game with modern roguelike elements. Team up with friends to combat dungeons, explore an expansive overworld full of secrets, and take down the Titans to save the once peaceful land of Tartos. Game's coming out on the 25th. It's only one this time. Ghost and Goblins Resurrection. Nintendo Switch. Taking clues from both ghosts and goblins and ghouls and ghosts and giving birth to something entirely new. Resurrection is a title worthy of its name. Don't be fooled. This picturesque storybook world, while gorgeous, it is a love letter to the original titles and maintains the same punishing gameplay, my apologies there, that fans have come to expect. So go on and test your metal, for the gauntlet has been thrown. 2 games coming out for the 26th, February 26th. Bravely Default 2, Nintendo Switch. Explore a new world as you fight for survival with your customized teams. I believe it's only 4 people, so it's not that customized, I'm not going to lie. Going off what I've read. Heroes in the Bravely Default 2 games. A strikingly beautiful RPG adventure, balance risk and reward, and turn-based battles with the Brave and Default commands. Retromania Wrestling, PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. Retromania Wrestling is the official sequel to the classic arcade game WrestleFest that was released in 1991 by Technos of Japan. And that is it for games out this week. No, next week.
That is it.
Time for Open Head to Head.
Plenty to talk about on a weekly review style podcast. It's time for OpenCritic Head to Head. This is the game myself and Moody play every single week, where we try to guess the upcoming OpenCritic average of one upcoming game. Whoever guesses closest to the score gets 1 point. If you manage to guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. Last week, we tried to guess the OpenCritic average of a game we never heard of because there wasn't really anything coming out. Fallen Legion Revenants. I guessed it would get a 69 because I'm very mature. Moody guessed it would get a 70. And at the time of recording, Fallen Legion Revenants has an OpenCritic average of 57. So neither of us were close. But I was closest, which means I get the point. That puts the scores at Amy 3, Moody 1, with 1 draw. This week, we can't do Persona 5 Strikers because the reviews came out fucking ages ago. So we're going to do a much more volatile game based on previews and hands-ons and demos and impressions by people. Bravely Default 2. So Mooney, what do you think the OpenCritic average for Bravely Default 2 is going to be?
So this game was not being developed by the same people who developed the first one, I believe. I've gone off the previews and listening to people who have played this game, because a lot of people have this game now, so obviously, and people have released previews of like playing 15 hours or so, just over it, of the game and everything. My heart says, come on, I want this a good score for my fantasy critic. My brain is saying it different wise here. I don't think it's going to be in the 80s, where like the original one, because the original one is very highly thought of. I'm going 75.
I remember. It was a 3DS game.
Yeah.
And I couldn't fucking play it because I didn't have a 3DS. And everybody was like, oh, Bravely Default's great. And I was like, motherfuckers!
I'll be very surprised if you do not hear the original Bravely Default was released on Switch, wasn't it?
Maybe. That wasn't... The Switch didn't exist when Bravely Default came out.
No, but didn't they port it?
That doesn't matter.
Well, I'm just saying. It's there, I think. Might be wrong. If it isn't, or if the original is not already on Switch, I will not be surprised if there's a port coming.
That doesn't matter. It doesn't take away from the fact that it was incredibly frustrating that I couldn't play it at the time it came out.
That's true. But you can play this one, though, Amy?
Yay. What was your guess? Because I didn't hear.
75.
75. Cool. This is a very confusing game. So I played the first demo of it, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty decent. And then I went on social media, and everybody was like, nah, mate, this sucks. And then I was like, does it really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit tough, but demos for JRPGs are generally a bit tough. As we discussed earlier, they kind of just drop you in the middle of shit, and you've no idea what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then like there was another demo, and that apparently got made was even worse. Like people thought it was even worse. And then there's trailers, and the trailers have looked good. And then but now people are getting previews and doing previews, and there's lots of previews out there which are like, hey, this is really good. And I don't know what to think. It's actually quite refreshing.
Yeah.
In a way, because normally I know what to think.
Yeah.
Like, based on the narratives and the discourse. Like, it's very easy to know what to think going into a game about where it's probably going to end up. And, games like Cyberpunk are the exception that prove the rule because, they mislead people before the game comes out. I just heard Keith's voice in my head. I'm not saying it, though, because it actually happened. So where am I going to put this? Am I going to guess 69 3 weeks running?
No.
No, I'm not going to do that. That'd be stupid. Am I going to roll the dice?
No,
not after last time.
I think you're going to go higher than me.
I am.
I thought you did.
80. Bang on 8 out of 10. Who knows? I don't know.
It's going to be a fascinating one. It is. It's going to be a fascinating one. Like the reviews,
it is interesting.
I think it drops 26, so the reviews will come out on the 25th, probably.
They will, but most importantly, wait until I talk about it on a future weekly review, because that's the most important review.
I'm getting it as well, so
because we don't put numbers on these things, right? I see you out there. I see you out there, Super Giant Games. While I was watching the last episode of the Hades documentary on No Clip, going into all the reviews and scrolling straight down to the scores. I saw that. Even the developers do that. The numbers aren't that important. If they were, we wouldn't make a game. We wouldn't make a dumb game out of it.
We're contradicting ourselves saying that because the numbers are important to us right now.
Yeah, we would. If they were important, we wouldn't make a dumb game out of it. The game would be much more serious.
Yeah. It would be Price is Right rules then.
Yeah, with Price is Right rules, and we'd have no points. That's gonna do it. The 244th episode of the Words About Games podcast.
Oh wow, we're almost to 250.
Yeah, I know. Like, people always say that. Like people always whoa, what are you gonna do for your milestone episode? And it's like, it's a news podcast. Nothing. I'm gonna talk about the news.
I'm not gonna pop out the champagne while I'm also bitching about this company.
Yeah, I'll wear a hat. There we go. How about that? Like, I've got some cat ears around here somewhere. I'll pop those on for $2.50. Like, even though you can't see the top of my head. Like, yeah, it's always weird, that one. Where it's just like, I'm gonna do nothing because this is a current of, like, both of the podcasts you do are current affairs podcasts, like, in different ways. It's like, we hit 250 and I'll probably be talking about some stupid shit some company's done.
Might be talking about the ESA fucking up E3.
Probably Google. I don't know. Maybe Amazon.
Probably Google. Maybe Ubisoft have become even worse. Or said something more politically stupid.
We're making a game called Politics Simulator 2021, but it's not a political game.
It's where you vote to impeach a president. But it's not a political game.
It's going to be their Among Us clone, and it's going to be like, one amongst you is a fascist wannabe dictator president.
How fast are you thinking the big companies are trying to do an Among Us clone?
It's coming.
Who gets out first? Activision, EA, or Ubisoft? Or
Ubisoft. Ubisoft will get there first. But they're coming. Like, I'm just batting down hatches and wait, right? It always happens. I'm halfway through writing a video essay about indie games, and I literally bring the point up in the video where it's like, like, all of the big trends usually start, or like in modern gaming, usually start with indie games. It's where Battle Royales came from. And then it's just who gets out first. That's just how it is. Epic Games got there first. Fortnite's the biggest one.
Warzone does well, like, I won't lie.
Oh, no, there's other ones that do well. The biggest one is usually the first one.
That is true.
The first AAA one. Just preface that. Like, so yeah, there's tons of social interaction, social deduction, I think they've been calling them. There's tons of social deduction AAA games coming, and they're all gonna be soulless.
Soulless.
Can't wait till we have to play all of these games for the weekly review. You know what? No, we don't. We don't have to play anything for the weekly review.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
No, we don't. Before we sign off, have you checked out the Mortal Kombat trailer?
No. The game.
For the film.
For the film. I think I've seen people talking about it.
Yeah, first it leaked, and then one above us went, oh, well, we have to release it now, so.
It's a shame Naughty Dog didn't do that with The Last of Us Part 2.
I'll say this right now because I have no sense on it. I'm seeing a lot of people go, oh, I'm going, oh my god.
Do that face again? Cool.
The trailer was meh. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Right. Well, you remember though is right. All right. The trailer might have been meh, but right, if you think of like movies as a whole, right, and the bar is about here for movies as a whole, right. So like you have a hype trailer, you have a not so hype trailer, you have a bad trailer, right. Video game movies, right? The bar is, let's see, that was where I put not so good movies. So the bar for those is about here somewhere. Video viewers will notice they can't see my hand anymore. So, like, if anything, like, surpasses that bar in any way.
It's a good, yeah, I know.
It looks good. Remember when people
game
thought...
of all time.
Remember when people thought... Because Assassin's Creed and Warcraft... Remember when people thought those were going to be amazing? And you know what? They're
trailers
not.
were trashed. Trailers were trashed.
They're not. Like,
Warcraft,
but the trailers weren't great. But they looked good enough.
I remember watching Warcraft at the cinema with my partner. I literally got home and I literally went to my PC and did a ranty review on it.
Nice.
I was so annoyed at that film. The film was terrible, Warcraft. So crap. So bad.
Video game movies aren't good. I'm sorry if you
Sonic
haven't realised that yet.
Sonic was alright. Tomb Raider was alright as well.
Yeah, but alright? Come on. Alright, is that what we do?
Oh,
we deserve
compared
better.
Compared to the original Mortal Kombat, alright is freaking Oscar level.
You just did it. You just did the thing. You literally just did the thing.
That's the thing. People are so hyped for this thing. I was just thinking, guys, the bar wasn't that high. For them to jump over for this to be at least a okay movie to be better than the original Mortal Kombat, because the original Mortal Kombat is one of the worst movies ever made.
The issue is, right, and this is probably more a your podcast than my podcast kind of discussion, but the issue is, right, that all they have to do is put out a trailer that looks alright, and they'll make their money back. Like, we need to demand more from these films.
I highly disagree with that.
We need to demand more from these fucking video game films. Because people will go and see them because it's Assassin's Creed or Warcraft or fucking, I don't know, what other video? Tomb Raider?
Assassin's Creed did not break even, I can guarantee you.
Oh, look, man, you fucking pedant.
No, but I'm just proving your argument wrong there, sweetheart, that's all. Yeah, it's... The trailer was very nostalgic it was aimed at people who love Mortal Kombat. Like you hear the "get over here," and they do look authentic when it comes to the looks for like Sub-Zero and all the other stuff. But it's very Mortal Kombat-ish. At least the story. I'll say this right now: the storyline mode for Mortal Kombat, they're crap. They aren't great stories. They're so over the top.
That's good for a film because it means they can do their own fucking thing.
People are more happy about this because the only people that think are happy about this movie is because it's raw rated, and at the end they say finish him, and they do all these things to do the finish him things, and it's just like, all right, I know what you're going for. I know who you. I know who you. At the end of the day, they are talking to their audience.
And
the trailer isn't for me.
Let me just have you know. Budget for Assassin's Creed, $125 million estimated. Cumulative worldwide gross, $240 million.
What was it? 100 and what?
$125 million estimate.
And how much did it make?
Worldwide gross, $240 million.
Guarantee you did not break even, sweetheart.
Me. Prove
You
it.
need at least to make about 300 to 350 to break even there.
Facts don't care about your feelings.
Let's get out of here, Amy.
Oh no. Yeah.
Say bye, Amy.
No. I want to talk. I
Okay.
want to talk more about how bad video game movies are.
They are
But
bad. There's no.
I feel like I've hit that button a million times. Stop watching them. There you go. That's it. Instead of saying bye, I'm just going to say stop watching video game movies. Just stop it. Stop it.